Alright guys, so in this video I would like to try and finish up our contact functionality. I don't know if we're going to get to it all in this one video, but we still have to add the ability to add a new contact based on the user, update and delete. So let's start off with this post API contacts, which is to add a new contact. So we're going to get rid of this. Now this is a private route, so we're going to use auth here. However, we're also going to need to use our Express Validator middleware, which if you remember, that goes in as a second parameter too. So the way that we can use multiple middlewares here is we can put in some brackets, and we need to use auth, so we'll put in auth, and then we'll put a comma, and then we'll open up our brackets for our checks. Okay, so we can just say check, and we're going to just want to make sure that there's a name for the contact. So let's say name, and we'll say name is required, and that's really the only required field here. So let's say not dot is empty. Okay, so we'll save that, and now we have our validation. So since we're using validation, we need to add the little, the couple lines where we check for errors and send a response. So I'm going to copy that from, let's go to users, this right here. Okay, this check. So we'll just paste that in. That'll take care of checking the errors. Now we're going to pull out the data from the body. So let's say const, we want name, email, phone, and type. And we want that from request.body. And then we're going to do a try catch here. And inside the try, let's create a new contact. And we're going to, new contact. And then we're going to set that to new contact. And we're going to pass in an object with the fields, which is the name, email, phone, and type. And then remember, we also have the user. So the user we can simply get from the request.user because we're using the auth middleware right here, which will give us access to that, to whatever the logged in user is. So let's say request.user.id. Okay, so we're going to add that to the contact. Now down here, let's go ahead and create a variable of contact, and we'll set that to await, and we want to save it to the database. So we're going to say new contact, which is our instance, our contact instance, and we're going to call the save method, which will then put it in the database. And then finally, we're going to return the contact to the client. Okay, and if there's an error, then we'll just do a console error. Probably add this as a snippet. So we'll send server error. Alright, so that should allow us to add a contact, although we have an error down here. Await new contact.save. And then I keep forgetting to mark this as a sync. Alright, so let's try it out. Let's go to our not browser, what is this, Postman HTTP client, and I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to grab this, but it's going to be a post request. We need to add a couple things for the headers. Since we're sending data, we need to add a content type of application JSON. Now this is a protected route, so we need our token, so I'm just going to grab it from here, or you can log in and get a new one. And this is going to be x-auth-token. And then for the body, we need to send some data. So let's send name. We'll say Sarah Smith. Email. Phone, And what else was there? Type. And if you want to add more fields, you can certainly do that. So for type, let's say professional. It should be personal by default, but we're going to set this one to professional. And it will automatically know the user because of the token that we're setting. Remember, that has the user ID. So let's go ahead and send that. And there we go. We get back the contact, and it's stored in the database. Let's add another one. We'll do, I don't know, Ted Johnson. All right, and let's take off type, and what should happen is we should get a default of personal. So we'll send that, and there we go, Ted Johnson. You can see the type is personal. All right, so we have a couple contacts. I guess we could add one more. Let's do, I don't know, Harry White. Okay, so now we have our contacts. Now I'm going to save this as add contact. And then let's go back to get all users contacts, and we still have John Doe's token in here. So let's send, and there we go. We get all of his contacts. Now we want to make sure that you can only add contacts for yourself. So let's actually register another user. So I'm going to go to register, and I'm going to go to body here, and let's change this. We'll do, let's say Sam Smith. Sam@gmail, and we'll go ahead and leave the same password, and let's register. Okay, so now we get a token, and this should be specific to Sam. So I'll go to get all user contacts, and I'm going to use Sam's token, and we get nothing. Okay, let's add a contact and change the token to Sam. And let's go to the body, and we'll change this to, let's say, Melissa Williams. Say Missy, and we'll just slightly change the phone number, and let's say send. Okay, we get that back. Now let's go back to get all users contacts with Sam's token and send, and you can see we only get Melissa. We don't get any of John Doe's contacts. Okay, so there's a relationship between those two collections.